The media defense of the Acolyte has gone to crazy lengths I've never seen before. With yesterday's Rotten Tomatoes hijinks that were happening as the site took down the Acolyte's audience score so that nobody else could see it. Now, there's a reason for this, and they're going to claim, it's review bombing, and they were just making the site better and more wholesome for professional reviewers to get their stuff seen. But we know the truth, and I'll tell you exactly what went on in just a moment with this new crazy breaking story. My name's John Delarose, everybody. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here. This is my news website, Fandom Pulse, which is in the description below. Sign up for the Substack and get all the news as it breaks. I write the news. I do the news. I'm not just covering other people's stories here, but doing them myself makes me a little different than a lot of the other YouTubers out there. I'm also a creator, which also makes me a little different. I write excellent science fiction, far better than anything in Star Wars. I don't need reviews deleted because you can see I've got 4.4 out of 5 stars for Justified Saga of the Nano Templar. Star Wars fans love this book, and you can join the amazing thousands of people who have been reading this entire trilogy by grabbing this in the description below. I'll have this for you. Thank you for supporting the channel and supporting our artistic efforts while Disney circles its drain on the other end. All right. So the Acolyte has been struggling, and we know this. It's basically one big struggle session, right? It's been therapy for Leslie Headland and therapy for Amanda Stenberg, this star, and then to distract from everything after just dismal reviews over and over and over again because the show's just so bad, so nonsensical. They got a guy naked got the Sith naked in order to try to gin up that Reylo fan base that they're trying to court. The problem with the Reylo fan base they're trying to court is there's just not very many of them out there. And so they were hoping that would do things. They would get the ratings back on track. And it didn't work. The Acolyte, after last week's episode, still sat at a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's been dropping from the mid-20s since it came out, and that drop shows that it's really not an audience review bomb out there. It's not just bad actors who aren't watching the show going in on this website. Everybody just didn't like the show, and they can't cope with that. They can't actually admit it that they failed on this level. And the reason they can't is because there's too much money on the line. This show cost $180 million to make. Leslie Headland went out there and banked her entire career on this. Disney is banking their entire Disney Plus platform on this. They can't allow it to fail, so they have to come up with excuses over and over again. There's this magical, real Star Wars fan that's going to be out there, and the real Star Wars fans are going to save it. Now, we know that it's not being watched very much either, and that's another portion of the problem. Most Star Wars fans have simply tuned out. The premiere of this, the 2-episode premiere, actually was the second lowest rated out of all Star Wars shows, just sitting barely above Andor, which a lot of people didn't watch. And I'm of a minority opinion on this. I actually kind of liked Andor. It doesn't fit great as a Star Wars show, but just as some serious political science fiction, it's kind of interesting, and it was pretty well done in my opinion. And so it just didn't have the feel Star Wars was going for, and that's why audiences really didn't tune in for that. This also doesn't have the feel of Star Wars. It has the feel of somebody's fan fiction where they want to put in a diverse lesbian cast or whatever, and then fight around with laser swords and run some effects in it, right? And that's the major problem with the show. On the article here, I gave a rundown of what's happened in the show so far, and we're 6 episodes in, which is more than 3 hours of content. And so far, there's been twins, some Jedi are getting murdered, they chased down the twins, they found out they were twins, they went after the wrong twin, they found out there was a Sith, they fought the Sith, he got away. Now, in classic television, classic science fiction television, if you go back to even the Battlestar Galactica era, even though that was a continuing serial drama, this would have been half an episode, not 6 episodes. I mean, they're drawing it out so much. They're drawing out such a thin plot for so long. It just falls flat on its face, and then it opens up all the plot holes because it's so slow. You start to just think and focus on them, and that's the problem that they have here. That's the problem that they have with the entire show. You take away all the even all the weird diversity crap in it. That is what's going on. Here's your naked Sith, if that's what you wanted out of Star Wars. And so it's been sitting at 14%. Now, I really think that their entire strategy, publicity-wise, was they knew that they bombed with the fans. And so they were going out with the review bomb scenario in order to try to get the Raylo Club and all this to make a political thing about it, to go back into Rotten Tomatoes and the like, and hope that they'll go in there and reverse review bomb it, and try to just knock those numbers back up. I think that was their media strategy with this whole thing. Yeah, obviously they were trying to get that sympathy from these quote modern audiences that they were hoping were going to come in to watch it, who aren't watching it. The ratings are terrible. There's been if you look at episode 6, there's an even bigger drop since the beginning, where now it's sitting at levels below almost pretty much anything. It's not even charting for streaming TV shows at this point, and people have just given up. And so nobody came in and nobody helped with this. You saw a little uptick with the episode 5 because that was like half the episode was a lightsaber battle. And so some Star Wars fans like that. There's a segment of Star Wars fans that are like, you know what? I just want a lightsaber battle. Now, I watched Shadiversity's video on the mechanics of that, which I recommend you do as well. And once you actually break it down and you slow it down, again, it on the surface, it might have looked pretty for a second, but it really is a terrible fight from a logistics perspective. That was a great video on that, if you haven't seen that. But it didn't pick up that much. It went from 13% to 14%, and then it stayed there through episode 6. It didn't move anymore. So I think they got desperate, is what happened. And I think they then approached Rotten Tomatoes and got them to move and do something on it. So this is what the site looked like yesterday. The audience score was removed from the main page, and they moved it down into the season score to try to hide it from their main page. Now, when you clicked on it further, it would go like this: audience score is not yet available. This is something a lot of people don't talk about. They got 83% from all critics, but the top critics, the ones that people trust, it's slipping pretty good to 72%. That's not a great score by any means. And so here, that you just could not access the public opinion on this, and they're doing this. This is a trend. It's a corporate trend in entertainment to remove public opinion from scenarios like this. And the reason that they do that is because they don't want the public to have a voice, because they want to be able to insert their narrative onto whatever you are supposed to think. And if you don't get to have a voice, you can't tell them what you think, and therefore you might be able to be more manipulated by their media outlets and things like that. This is a long trend and a long pattern. I actually I tweeted about this yesterday. If you guys have not seen that yet either, because there was more than just this. If you look at this globally and holistically over the course of the last several years, we have this situation all the way around. And this is what I said. Netflix changed their rating system for Amy Schumer. This happened. Remember, Amy Schumer came out with a special, and they got rid of their stars rating system so you couldn't see things because they wanted to hide the fact that audiences hated that. Amazon deleted and blocked reviews for Rings of Power. I had friends who lost their review privileges on Amazon just for leaving a bad review of Rings of Power. I mean, it's unbelievable. YouTube then took away dislikes so that you can't see them. Click the dislike on this video, by the way, if you're a Disney shill. Then Google censored the search results for DEI detected in video games, and I actually got hit by that. The reason that we're on the Fandom Pulse website and on Substack now and not on our own domain anymore is because Google actually removed our ability to be seen on their search functions. If you search these topics, we don't come up anymore. And so I moved to Substack to avoid that kind of censorship so that I can just appeal to you directly. So again, make sure to grab that link in the description and make sure to visit that every day. These companies don't want to hear from you. They hate you, and that's what this is all about. They are trying to censor you. They are trying to make your voices less heard because they think if they can just control the narrative a little bit more, they can then force people to like their bad products, is really what it comes down to. It's really a cynical strategy. Now, it's pointed out that, I guess Kathleen Kennedy is related to somebody over at Paramount who actually owns Rotten Tomatoes, or I don't know how much of that's true. So they might have just made a phone call to make this happen, but they got caught. And so when we caught them doing this, and the internet blew up yesterday when this happened, all of X went nuts. And Rotten Tomatoes had egg on their face for trying to pull a fast one on everybody. And so they as of this morning, it is back up again. They've put it back up. I was afraid they were going to start removing reviews like they did with The Last Jedi. But for now, it is sitting at the 14% audience score. They were chastised. They got egg on their face. They got slapped by the fans. And we made a difference. And this is what's happening more and more. If you look at the way that video games are happening and the fans are rising up to stop those sort of things from happening, we're loud and we're scaring these corporations. And we're going to scare them into compliance, into actually stopping with this DEI agenda and moving on and trying to make things great again in our culture. And it's just going to take a while to do it. We have to keep our foot on the gas, and we have to keep winning, because this is a big win for all of us, my friends, and it'll continue to do so. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please sign up for the Fandom Pulse Substack and grab Justified Saga of the Nano Templar on Amazon. Appreciate you guys for being there. We'll be back soon.